Two colleagues of mine recently bought Selmer Mark VI saxophones on an auction site. They're from the 50s and 60s, I believe, and they seem to be the most coveted saxophone. Quite expensive, as you can imagine. Both of them, I asked them, really, are you saying that these saxophones from the 50s and 60s, despite the wear, some of them in very good condition, are better than what we can produce today with all the technology, the materials, and so on and so forth? And both of them say yes. I pushed them a bit. I said, come on. I understand that the famous saxophone players played them, were human beings, romance. But both of them said, I remain sceptical, but I don't play the saxophone, so. Biodynamic produced an update of the M88, one of my favourite dynamic mics, some time ago with neodymium magnets, and if you've seen my previous review, you may have noticed that I prefer the older one. The newer one sounds pretty much identical. It's a bit louder because of the neodymium magnets, but it was a bit noisier with handling noise and breath. So for singing, I favour the original. Biodynamic once again produced an update of their M500, the V90R. I've compared them. Slightly different sound, but both got the Bayer ribbon sound. Come the end of it, I favoured the original. AKG produced an update of their 535, the 636 Master Reference. Come the end of it, I clearly favoured the newer incarnation. Sennheiser have produced an update to their top-of-the-range dynamic, the MD 431. This is a MD 431 Mark II. I'll have a look and a listen and see what I think. The original manufacturer's claims were, for the original mic, a soloist microphone, hypercardioid, temperature-independent shock system, field replaceable on-off switch, and pretty much, I think, the same as the specs for the Mark II version. We'll look at the frequency graph in a moment. The instructions, what came in the box for the new one, is this. Nice enough. The original came with this. In a few languages. I think slightly nicer. I'm not in favour of wasting the planet's resources. But this feels a little, the new one feels perhaps a little bit mean. Don't know. This is the original in its case. And this, beg your pardon, is a replacement. Let's start with that. If you've seen the other video, the review of this one, a little bit unnecessary, not all that useful. Better, I suppose, at least because it's smaller. It's a bit grippier as well. This opens with a catch here. And there's the mic inside. Not the original foam, I'm sure. I'm sure the original foam long deteriorated, but the box is a good size for the mic. It has quite charming metal hinges and a bit of metal in the catch there. This one, as you may have seen, it's slightly slippery. Original foam hasn't rotted yet, don't know if it will, but quite some excess. So I'm guessing that this was made, the box is made for various microphones and the foam insert is changed according to the model. Hinges are that kind of plastic. I've never had any problem with that kind of plastic that bends and bends and bends and doesn't seem to tear. Same with the catches. I suppose if this drops, it's pretty unlikely that these catches will fly open. I suppose there's a possibility with this one, if it drops, that if it lands on that, it'll open and the mic will come out. And so, you know, I just use this and that's the end of it. Both microphones come with, as far as I can tell, near identical clip, both with the ring and the catch. So I guess the next thing to do is look a little closer. Here they both are then. The Mark II is lighter, though the Mark I is still reasonably light for a microphone. Different switch. This one can unscrew here, not so on this one. Slightly different there. I think I prefer that, the way the arm meets. But hey. Slightly rattly switch on the new one. Very firm on the older one. The sound of the new one. The body. And the grill. The older one, the body, and the grill, a bit more of a ring. Very nice feel to them. This one's obviously had years of handling. This one's new. See what's underneath here then. The grill of the new one, which you may have seen before. Foam, and I think just one layer of mesh, quite firm. The original, no foam. Something, an inner grill, quite thick, and a slightly finer outer grill, and sandwiched between them, kind of a mesh. I think it might be this material here, I don't know. Would seem pretty robust to me. The new one, some kind of, I'm not sure if it's foam. And as you've maybe seen before, quite compliant. The original, this does come out. Rather different on the top. There's signs of aging glue there. Aging glue in it. Wow. Still very compliant. Finally, I think I rather prefer that matching, which it doesn't here, And this is subjective, of course. As for looks, well, both of them are a bit of a statement. Both of them look a bit like a sort of a rocket or something. And I think when it comes down to it, if I'm going to have a rocket, I may as well have the bling as well. So I think looks-wise, subjective. As for the switch, well, yes, as for the switch. There's no disguising it, is there? What if you're going to have a switch, I suppose? Even after all these years, it's very positive. This one rattles a bit, as we found out before. You don't want too much of a click, of course, because it's going to hear it through the mic. Now, they say in the original documentation that the switch is field replaceable. So I thought, well, don't carry a soldering iron, do you? So I thought, you need a soldering iron, surely. But I wonder if any of you can figure out how this works, because I wonder if it's to do with a magnet or something, but we'll see. So if I replace the switch, I know it's field replaceable and I'm in the middle of town, but so maybe that doesn't apply, but we'll see. 2 screws removed of quite different lengths, so be careful. Off comes the switch. Remove the gasket. I see no metal in the switch. I see no contacts. I wondered if the screws were, but they screw into plastic. Whoops. I better be careful here. I won't do that. Or will I? Oh, yeah. Don't know if you can see. Something moved. It won't now, so I hope I haven't broken it. No, it's gone back, so I think I better put it back together before a disaster strikes. Well, never mind what they look like. What do they sound like? The graphs should appear. And not much between them. Sorry about the low res. I suppose what I see a little is that, yeah, top end's slightly different, but it's kind of much the same. Maybe the older one remains level through the middle, whereas with the later one, there's a very slight decrease as it goes to about 100 hertz, I think it is. And the low end, it seems to me the older one tails off more severely than the newer one. I'm going to switch them on and see what I notice immediately. Now I'm on the Mark II. I've done a review of the Mark II, so immediately can hear a difference to the 33, but that's not what we're doing. So here's the Mark II. I've again tried to level them up as best. Here's the Mark I. This is the Mark I. This is the Mark II. Mark II Sennheiser, 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 Sennheiser. There's a difference, I guess. Well, I'll go through the usual things. So Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked. Seems to me there's less in the way of pops, but I'm aware of less low end generally. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. And I think I'm aware of that it's the older one is rougher. Older one is. Newer one is. Newer one is. Of course, I can hear now there's more low end on the new one, so that's altering the balance. On the Mark II, Susie Shoeshine Girl, sitting in a shoeshine shop. Susie, Susie, shoeshine girl, sitting in a shoeshine shop. Susie, Susie, shoeshine girl, sitting in a shoeshine shop. Susie, Susie, shoeshine girl, sitting in a shoeshine shop. Original. Susie, Susie, shoeshine girl, sitting in a shoeshine shop. So I'm aware of more edgier somehow there, and a bit more there as well. And less in the low end. Yeah, less in the low end. Susie, Susie. Breath. The new one. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Original. Who do you think you are? Who? Lower, more woof in the who. I'm noticing that. Rest our ears a bit, the 33. Who. Proximity on the Mark II model. Getting closer, farther away, getting closer, farther away, getting closer, way. When I did that, way, feels a little bit grainy to me. I mean, this one's an old mic. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think. But who knows? But things have obviously deteriorated or maybe improved. Who knows? Different. There. So a little bit of an SM58 thing in that the low end's not really there and there's a bit more. So therefore this is revealed more. There. May as well do quickly the polar response. Both hypercardioid. Round. Round. Not much for me to choose between them. Handling noise. Noticeably more on the Mark II, low frequency stuff. Of course, it goes lower, so it could be to do with that. But I noticed that the suspension on the older one was in very good condition, it seemed to me. Any induced noise? We've done this one by the transformer, I'll do it again. Not aware of anything. I'm on this one, yes I am. Yes I am. Little bit of something there. Back on this one. On the new one, so a little bit of noise when I put the old one near the transformer, but really you're not going to do that. So that's perhaps not valid at all. Really, it's got its sound. It's got its sound, as many dynamics do. Compared to the original, I kind of like the bling. So do students. Come the end of it, it seems to me a little bit coarser at the top, seems to me, and not as satisfying for me lower down. So for practical purposes, I'd go with this one for me. But I find this kind of 1980s, I can imagine ABBA or somebody using it, and very nicely made. But you've got to go with what you're going to use, really. That's my view of it anyway. Be seeing you.